Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode with Tanay. See, one of the reasons I'm both afraid and excited to get Tanay on the show is because whenever I do a video with him, it's controversial and we get belted in the comments. So he enjoys it, by the way. He sends me like particular comments and he says, this guy has nothing to do in his life. So I really enjoy Tanay's responses in the comments. So please keep the comments exciting. Please actually take your frustration out on us. But remember, don't do it on my everyday videos. Do it here because it's me and a Tanay thing. Awesome. Let's begin. Today we want to talk about the Metaverse, right? Mark Zuckerberg came out, stole my company's name, and started speaking about it in public. And I'll tell you, here's my face, right? I really enjoy the Metaverse. So my face went from this to this the minute he announced the name rebrand of Facebook into Meta. Because I ran a company called Avalon Meta and I was like, shit, should have trademarked the name. We have the entire name Avalon Meta trademarked, but unfortunately we missed out on Meta. So, on the Metaverse, Tanay, what do you think about the Metaverse? Is it the future or is it hype?
I think it's a mix of both. Every technology has to have some hype, right? And at the same time, it has some promise. So I see the promise. I want to stay away from the hype. The promise is there, right? And it's already we are living in a metaverse. If you think about it, I know more about you than I know about the next door neighbor, right? And we meet like once in 6 months kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. So we are already living in the metaverse. We are already living on internet more than we are living in our physical spaces right now.
Yeah. Do you feel like the Varun Mayya online now is a separate personality and I've got to keep up that personality? And is the Tanay Pratap online like a separate personality? Does he have to keep up that personality? And do you feel that's the beginning of the Metaverse?
That's a great point. I think exactly opposite of it, right? I think like we are all living in a big boss house if we start becoming influencers, and you cannot hide your true self online for a long time. The more content you share, the more live interactions you do, you cannot hide your true self, right?
Yeah.
Your true self will come out, and with great power, it will just amplify. Your good or your bad will amplify, right? It's very much like Captain America thing, right? The serum just brings out what you have. So I think the identity will be carried over now even more to your online presence and online presence across different platforms.
Zuckerberg wants to take it one more level, right?
Yeah.
He wants to put a physical avatar to your digital self. Today, I'm very sure you guys associate me on Twitter or Tanay on Twitter with a profile picture. You don't even remember us. But Zuckerberg wants to bring it full circle. He says, "Aapka physical avatar tha, we are bringing it back." Right? So I remember it looked quite creepy. And I did this once with Digital Maya. I don't know if you remember Digital Maya. So I did this 3D avatar in Unreal Engine of myself.
I remember.
I was having fun, right? So Zuckerberg is bringing that back. And it's like a one-click thing now, where now you have a physical avatar in 3D again. Because the conference might be taking place in Arizona,
True.
but you're in Chhattisgarh.
True.
And you can't really take a flight to Arizona. So does it bring the world closer or does it divide the world further because everyone now creates their own bubble? Because even though I'm right next to, say, Rahul, who's my neighbor, who drills all the time, he's drilling above my head all the time. So now I've created a bubble where I don't want him in that world.
Right.
He's noisy.
Right.
But I want you.
Right.
But you're not next to me.
Right.
So am I sacrificing this world for the online world? Is that what's happening?
I think yes, no, and that's where Clubhouse, Twitter Spaces, or any online thing is happening, wherein you are creating your scenes. I'm sorry, where you are creating your own community, right? And you are hanging out with people you like to hang out, right? Just because there's a physical space constraint, or because you can't travel to some place or be there, you shouldn't be constrained your growth, your circle, your network. So I think it's a great thing to have, isn't it?
Interesting. So tell me the technical implementation of this. Okay, so we understand that you got to wear a VR headset.
Right.
So firstly, is it going to be in VR or AR? What is the difference?
So the way I see this entire metaverse thing happening is wherein you will have VR, you will have AR, and you will have physical as well, right? All three things would come together. So you will have most of your time in VR or on your computer screen. Somewhere you will have this cup, right? The cup which you have, you will take this cup to your VR as well using AR, right? And at the same time, you will have meetups or things like that in physical spaces as well, wherein you go and meet the real person behind it. So metaverse is somewhere where you have all these three dimensions, completely virtual plus physical, and physical dimensions coming together.
Yeah. I think, my personal belief on this, because I was actually one of the first people in the country to ever own a VR, like a commercial VR headset.
Right.
I bought it before anyone else did. I bought the HTC Vive, the original. I shipped it from the US to India because we're not delivering to India. It was life changing. It was like, shit, there's so much that can be done with this.
True.
I realized the benefits of VR a long time ago, and it's just gotten better and cheaper.
Right.
The headset now, which is like 3 or 4 times better, the resolution per eye is like much better. It's now 40,000 rupees on Amazon.
Right.
The Quest 2. Do you own a Quest 2?
I am getting it from US right now.
You can get it on Amazon, by the way.
It's
Quest
cheaper,
2.
no? US.
No, Amazon is cheaper.
No.
US will pay customs, no?
Someone is coming.
Oh, okay, that way. Cool. So my big problem with VR usage is that people use it very religiously for a week and they just completely stop.
Right.
I think the immersion is a con rather than a pro.
True.
It transports you into another world, but people still want to be connected to this world.
Right.
So that's why I feel AR might be the better technology in the long term. And even Mark Zuckerberg said this in in his speech, right, where he copied our company name. So he said that, I think the ideal use case of AR or the metaverse will be in AR, where you're part of the real world, but you can see your friend also.
Right.
Reality is a shared illusion. So what happens if you and I agree that there's a Pikachu there?
Right.
Then it becomes real essentially. Mere ko chahiye ye Pikachu. And you will also say, I also want this Pikachu.
Right.
So I think AR will be where the magic's at. VR is good. It'll be for immersive experience. I'm not convinced anybody uses VR on an everyday basis for a long period of time.
I think there is also this network perspective to it, right? Like your network is not hanging out on the VR every day. Why? Like think of Skype. Skype existed way before we started doing WhatsApp video calls. But WhatsApp video call is what made video calls like an everyday phenomenon, right? You started talking to your parents, to everyone.
But I don't
on
think it's
video.
because of network effects. I'll tell you why. People existed on Skype. The problem is mobile is just too easy. So maybe what you're trying to say and what I'm trying to get out of this is the current incarnation of VR is like a version 1.
Yep.
But you're saying it's going to become as small as a glass, you're going to wear it, and it's going to replace your mobile phone. Because the minute you replace a mobile phone, that's a new platform.
Dude, this iWatch, right? I have stopped using phone because of this. A lot of times I put my phone somewhere because I know if a call comes, I can take it. I can see WhatsApp and all.
Do you do this?
So I do sometimes. I do actually. So now it has become an integral part because now I don't have to pull my phone from my pocket in my hand, and it sounds very privileged, but it is true because the more you make technology easier to access, the more it becomes part of your everyday life, right?
Yeah. For VR to reach like super mainstream adoption, it's got to become glasses. Eventually, it's going to go connect right to the optic nerve.
Right.
Actually, I don't know the anatomy of the eye. I'm not very familiar with that. So I don't know if it's the optic nerve that transmits information to your brain or what it is, but it's going to go there. It's going to reside there. Ki boss, ye information bhejo. So I am not surprised if one day we wake up and they infuse particles directly here. So whenever you want to turn on VR mode, you just tap here. And there's one crazy gentleman who's actually, trying to do this. And that's Elon Musk. By the way, what Neuralink does has always existed. We've got these machines. We've got the emotive, which is basically an EEG. Something like this is the precursor of putting your phone in your brain. If you break down identity, we've got the limbic system.
Right.
We've got the prefrontal cortex. Prefrontal cortex is new. The limbic system is like, I want food, I want reproduction, etc., etc. I'm using the word reproduction rather than sex. And the prefrontal cortex justifies all those decisions with like fancy words.
Right.
I want, a mate that does this, but actually you're playing to the tune of your limbic system.
Right.
So Elon Musk says that, boss, this is a tertiary system. This is a third system. Okay, that you're connecting to your brain. The phone is already a third system. Right?
Exactly.
Every piece of information, do people hate you? Do people like you? Why do you react when people shit on you on the comments?
Exactly.
Which you guys should do with Tanay.
Yeah, please.
Just he enjoys it.
Lovely.
So that feeds from your phone, because you're going to read that, directly into your brain, which is going to, into your prefrontal cortex, directly into your limbic system.
Right.
So your limbic system is going to be like, society hates me. I am feeling relegated. I might be eaten by a tiger now because I'm separated from you.
Right.
So I don't know what the second order effects of a system like this are. I would like you to tell me.
I think anyway, reality is an illusion. I think you covered it really well, right? At the same time, any technology, new or old, takes time for adoption.
True.
So in what we can't predict future, at least not now. We can only see where things are moving. So things are moving more virtual. Whether it's VR or some kind of virtual reality, we are moving towards it already. And hardware is always going to catch up. Hardware will never be there, and you will arrive with software. Software will always be in the front, right? So I think in 10 to 15 years, we'll find out where we have to go and what we have to need. VR might not be the answer. AR might not be the answer.
But some hybrid.
But some
or
hybrid.
something new.
Something which should cut the borders and make the world more flat, so that you start hanging out with people who you like instead of hanging out with people just because of physical constraints. That is for sure gonna happen, no matter how it happens.
Okay. There's a category or a class of people. I call them Luddites.
Okay.
I don't know if you know what the word means, but you guys can Google that. Luddites. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Luddites. These are people who say, enjoy nature.
Achha.
Why do you need VR or AR or mobile phones or computer?
Yeah, right.
Why do you need any of that?
Right.
What do you have to say to them? Because they are against VR. They say we're creating a crazy world.
To them, I would say, is nature real, or is any of your experience real?
तू तो simulation game खेल रहा है.
It is. What is real in life? Nothing is. What we experience in any point of time, we think it's reality. But is that reality? We don't know. Nobody knows. So if we know that nothing is real, nothing is final, and whatever we experience is what we want to experience, then why don't we want to experience better things?
But people prefer a tormented nature rather than a nature created by man. Because in VR, it's a nature created by man.
Yep.
So people sometimes want the real nature.
Again, real is what we two agree. If we agree there's a Pikachu, then Pikachu is there, right? So I think it's a very constrained thinking that, and this comes from mythology and everywhere else and all of this, right? Philosophy or futuristic thinking, both agree to one thing: is reality is what we want to make of it, right? So my thinking is, why do we want to make a reality where we suffer?
No, I agree with that. I've always found it senseless how most of humanity suffers, by the way. And I've always found it interesting that humans are, every device we create, right? We can call it entertainment. But what we're really doing is alleviating suffering.
Exactly.
We are saying that when we watch a movie, we're escaping from life's troubles. And when we enter VR, we're truly escaping life's troubles. We're resetting our life. I never felt like I fit in. I was very introverted. I had different goals in life. And I was like, shit, I wish I could transport myself away from here. And I feel finally that opportunity exists for people who want to reset, who want to start over. And for people who like the real world, don't impose your claims on the other people.
Exactly.
You live your reality. Like, for example, okay, and I'm saying this publicly, I can't believe it. Business is rubbish. Most of business is rubbish. It's like make-believe.
Right.
Okay. It's the same as in VR, there's a Pikachu. Same thing, we agree there's a contract and we do this, whatever. Right? So it's not much different from the existing world. It's just you have to be adaptable to understand that that world exists.
Right.
And you are outnumbered. Because of the way math works, a parent usually has 2 kids. And both those kids are going to be part of this generation. So parents are outnumbered 2:1. Right? Even though there are 2 parents, the kids are going to have 2 more kids, and then that number gets skewed, right? So the next generation will outnumber you. Like, I think some huge percentage of India's population is under 30, working class. Right. And they all understand how to use a computer, how to use a phone. Right? And they're all going to be part of this new world. Yep. So Tanay, where are the opportunities?
I think the opportunities are in first understanding how this all of this is going to work. If you become an anti-VR, anti-metaversity person, I think just shut your eyes, the world is not going to change. It's going to move where it's going to move, and you can't change it. The world is moving towards, because we have done with our survival needs, right? We want more and more fantasy.
So you're saying humanity as a whole has ascended through the Maslow's pyramid. We've gone up.
Right.
The entirety of humanity. What about the people at the bottom? They're still struggling for survival and stuff. Why are we abandoning them?
I think we are not abandoning them. Once we start realizing that, everything has taken time to trickle down, even this will take some time to trickle down, right?
Got it.
We are not dying, like the bottom half is not dying with this, from the same diseases.
They're starting to get more diabetes than starvation.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to be open to it, first of all, is what I would say. Second is, I think this will be a world of builders, right? You cannot not be a builder, not be a critical thinking person, not be a creative person and thrive in this world, because you have to be a creator. Now, I'm not saying content creator. See my other video where I got belted for that.
On my channel.
Yeah, on Varun's channel, because I get more belted on his channel than on my own channel, right? So, so I'm not saying you have to be a content creator, but you have to be a creator of some programming, something has to come in. Creativity
Either
has to come in.
content or design or
Something.
you know, code. I think these are three segments, right? Content, design, code.
Product, human understanding, you can do a lot
I
of
think
things.
that would
Comes
be somewhere
into,
a segment.
design
yeah.
or code.
It's somewhere between design and code, like product.
So you have to have one skill, one definitive skill of, you know, design, creativity, maybe communication. These
What
kinds
happens otherwise? Do you stay on the consumer side if you can't create anything?
I think what happens on the other side would be lovely to see. It's the same thing which we were talking about few years back around UPI, right? The universal income around AI. Like if AI solves all of our worlds. UBI, universal basic income, right? So if AI solves all our problems, what happens to the bottom half or the lower half? So that's already happening, right? If we see a lot of jobs have been replaced by automation and people have been pushed towards more creative pursuit. Like right now, a lot of people are into programming or design than before, and they are having better work, better deep work, and more fulfillment from life. So the way I see it is, and
we make machines do all the kachra work.
They make machines do all the kachra work, and all the smart people, everybody will become smarter, more creative,
and because they have the time to educate themselves now because they're not doing child labor.
Exactly. So craftsmanship will be there more, and then you will have a more fulfilled life, is what I'm seeing.
True. So I personally believe that the opportunity, and I've said this like a million times, I did a course on this, like a year-long course on this. Learn the Unreal Engine or learn Unity.
Yeah, I think
Boss, this is not going to be like old school apps, right? I know Tanay is like a champion at Microsoft of old school apps. But I think the world's moving to 3D games.
So I think 3D design definitely has a very strong
3D, which is Blender.
Right.
I'm telling you, Blender is going to be the reason Blender is getting so popular. Even though 4 years ago the industry was popular, Maya was popular in the industry. It's a 3D modeling tool, right? Blender's gotten popular because it was free and open source. In fact, I feel like the tools itself have a metaverse among themselves. You can take something in Blender, send it to Unreal. Take something in Unreal, send it to Maya. Take something in Maya, you know, make a video out of it.
Right.
It's crazy. You can just like pop tools from here to there. I mean, pop assets from here to there among the tools.
Right.
And they've all created something called bridges.
I think the third thing which I would say is crypto, but not cryptocurrency, but cryptography, right? Mm-hmm. The identity and the sanctity of identity maintained across platforms, across devices will come from cryptography, and it has been there, right? We are using HTTPS for so long, it's cryptography, right? So I think understanding of these three things would be crucial. A very less, like 2% of cryptography, I think 20-30% of design, and a lot bigger programming, some sort. Maybe we won't even have to write code anymore for program. We will think of something else. A no-code tool is also a programming tool, right?
What about me being a content creator in VR? I take a video of a scene and then play it for others. Why is that not a good career option?
Don't know, I haven't thought about it.
So I'll tell you why it's not a good career option. It happens on Twitch all the time. Mm-hmm. There are a billion people doing it, one person successful. Exactly the same odds as in the current content creator space. Billions of Indians trying, 5 people who have more than 10,000, not 5, obviously much more than that, but very few number of people with more than 10,000 or 100,000 followers. How many? You can count them on your fingers.
Right.
Odds of winning are very low because the barrier of entry is low.
It's also a zero sum, right? Because attention is limited.
Yeah.
End of the day, you're in attention game, not making code, right?
Yeah. So with code, even if somebody else has the attention, you can give your skills to them. With content, you can't do that.
Right.
You can't create content and donate your views to another person.
Right.
It doesn't happen.
Right.
Very difficult.
So that's it.
Yeah, that's it. So guys, Metaverse, watch out for it. And yeah, comments.
Yes.
For Tanay.
Please.
Bye. Make sure you like, subscribe and follow this channel.